Hi, pursuers. Welcome to another episode of the Pursuit of Happiness podcast. Let's get right into the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 13. This is a bit juicy. First of all, before we get into the recap, I want to just say that headlines say that Todd and Bronwyn now separate after 7 years of marriage. Now, if you have been listening to me during my recaps, which haven't been for too long, but if you've been listening, you know that I knew that this was headed in this direction. I've always said, I can't believe Bronwyn consistently throws Todd under the bus and makes everything his fault. Now, I don't know what the nail in the coffin was, but just from seeing, for example, saying things like, well, I didn't want to come, well, my husband didn't want me to come, or Todd didn't want me to do this. Everything falls on Todd's shoulders rather than her just taking the accountability and be like, actually, we decided as a couple that maybe it was better if I came separate. You know what I mean? Nothing was about them together. It was just always she was putting it all on Todd, and I found that a bit... I knew that when he saw this back, he's going to be like, why are you always saying that it's me? Why can't it be a consensus or a decision that we made together? Then, because to the group, she makes it look like he's the one that really doesn't want her to be with them. And the decisions need to be made together. And they need to be brought to the group as if they've been made together, even though one has made it and one hasn't. And I think that's what really keeps a marriage, especially in a marriage amongst where one of the spouses doesn't want the other spouse hanging around a group of women or a group of people in general. I think it just makes a huge difference to come from the same kind of to kind of hold the fort together. You know what I mean? You're holding the front together rather than just putting it on one person. And I think that's a huge contributing factor in separating with somebody, especially when it's a public relationship. It's only lasted a year. Todd only lasted a year with her while she was on TV. You've seen Joe and Melissa last a lot longer. You've seen, I think Lisa and Todd. Is it Todd? Wow, yeah, last a lot longer. But speaking of the Todds, I saw a meme that said "Move over, Toms," and it had a picture of Luann's Tom, from Roni, Tom Girardi, and Tom Sandoval. So it had the top three. It had three of them on the top, and it said "Move over, Toms." It's the year of the Todds. And then on the bottom, it had a picture of Alexia's Todd, so Todd Napoli, Candy's Todd, and because she's getting a divorce from him, and also Bronwyn's Todd. So how ironic that all these housewives end up with the same sort of husbands with the same names, and all I gotta say are these T names are clearly not doing it. Anyways, we get into the episode. Heather and the most notable parts I want to chat about, obviously, where Heather and Mary show up at Angie's house. They're learning a little bit of Greek before Angie's big Greek fest for her citizenship. And it's funny because the lady that's there was like, are you guys fighting with someone when you're going there? Because all the words that they're like, how do you say this? How do you say that? They're just using words and phrases that generally people wouldn't say when they're going to a brand new country and learning things about that country. So that was kind of interesting. Bronwyn, Meredith, and Lisa are absent. It seems like Meredith and Lisa were not invited, perhaps, but then Bronwyn had other plans that day, so that explains why they weren't there. Then it just dives in. I mean, there's other scenes there too, but we're going straight to the juicy parts of this episode. Next, they're all at the airport getting ready to leave, and Andrew brings Baklava out to the airport. Now, it's really interesting because I'm Persian. I'm from Iran. We call ourselves Persians because it was the Persian Empire before it became Iran in 1937. Then the 70s, from Iran, it became the Islamic Republic of Iran because there was a revolution where now it's a religious government. And ever since, it's been the Islamic Republic of Iran. I don't practice Islam. My parents are Islamic, but they don't practice it. They came to, they're Muslim, but they came to Canada and they wanted us to have freedom of choosing what we want. So really they come to church with me and they do all the Christian things because me and my daughter are Christian. And this is so digressing, but the reason that I started following more Christianity is when we had moved to Alberta. We moved to Canada in 1988 when I was 4 years old. And I had a neighbor, she was Christian, and she would let me read these books called Mandy and the Cherokee Legends and stuff like that. And so Mandy was a missionary with her parents. And so I just got into it a lot. And then I would go to Sunday school here and there with her, although my parents didn't let me go too often. They didn't want me, like, they wanted me to get older and make my own decision, you know, about what I want to believe and what I want to follow. But, you know, that stuck with me. And I don't know, I just felt the presence of God from that very moment. Like, I just felt him with me in those moments. It's so weird to explain because I could just, I don't know. I don't want to make this faith. Anyways, so Persians and Greeks are very similar. So we also have a delicacy in Iranian, and it's called baklava. So a lot of things are very, very similar, the Greek culture and the Persian culture. Sometimes I even see Greek men or Greek people, and I'm like, they could pass as a Persian, unless I know that they're Greek. Like, Greeks have a very distinct look, but then there's that space in between where they could look like they're Iranian. And and then when I ask them that, they're like, you know how many people have asked me that? It's crazy. And then I also know some Persian people that get asked all the time if they're Greek. I myself have been asked if I'm Italian, Brazilian, Greek, Colombian, because I'm naturally curly hair, so Mexican. So it goes in all directions. East Indian, like, I could be anything. If I go to that country, I'm all of a sudden them. So I kind of like that, you know. I didn't like it so much when I was in Canada because of the particular race that I was told. But anyways, Greeks and Persians, very similar. It dates back to Babylon and the Mesopotamia times. It was all the Persian Empire, and Greeks were part of that as well. So anyways, they land in Greece and they head straight to a restaurant to eat. There's no makeup, no glam, no nothing. Because apparently, from what I heard, them chatting, they have been traveling for 2 days and they're just starving. So on the way to the hotel, Angie had set up this really gorgeous Greek restaurant on top, private, for them to eat and get some food. But of course, Heather starts right away with the snide comments, and she's like, well, Lisa, you won't be happy because I bought a Cartier watch. And apparently at duty free, Heather went and bought herself and Whitney a matching Cartier watch because it was duty free, and so no tax, a little bit cheaper. Now listen, Cartier watches are great. I myself probably couldn't afford one at this time. But also, like, why are we fighting over a Cartier watch? Like, my thoughts on this are the exact same as Mary's. Like, what the F? I do get annoyed when people do cop my style, or specific unique pieces that I own, you know, like my style. Okay, so I feel like my style is half on what I wear, but a lot of my swag. Like, my swag really creates my style. Like, the way I talk, the way I walk, the way I act. On top of that, the way I dress. Like, the way I dress is just a cherry on top. But then I do have unique pieces that are really unique to me and to my style. And yes, I always tell this to my daughter too, or anyone that usually says stuff like this, and I always have to give myself this pep talk. That store didn't, it's not couture. That store didn't make one piece of clothing just for me. It obviously made all these clothes, that there's going to be bound to be, especially when you're from the same city, you're going to run into people that have the same outfit as you. You know what I mean? But it's just very interesting how you can hang out with a certain group of people and they go and they buy that very one thing that you have that maybe not other people have. Call it being flattered, sure, but it does annoy me still, especially when it's something really, really unique. But again, I have to realize that it's my swag that really provokes my style. So they can never have my swag. They can have that piece. They can have all the pieces in my closet, but when they put it on, they're not going to be me, and it's taken me years to get to that point. I still have to, again, give myself that talk. So, but still, like, bringing up a watch, and you're not going to like me, and blah, blah, blah. And then, like, Angie and Lisa are getting into, like, who got the Porsche first? Who got the watch first? I've been wearing the watch since 2016. I get it. I get that they both want to prove their points and, like, to go back, because I get down and dirty, too. Like, I have receipts to show. But it's like, you guys are on a TV show. You're in Greece. Like, just... why are we still trying to prove things to each other? You know what I mean? Like, maybe looking at it like all those things that we did in the past brought us to this one place here in time. So let's just enjoy that, you know? But I think when you're so heated in the moment, that's the last thing on your mind. So anyways, the next day comes along. They go for brunch, and Heather's asking who's going to be hooking up with the Greek guy. They're all asking. And then, you know, they turn to Bronwyn. They're like, are you and Todd okay? Bronwyn says, no, I'm completely fine, and denies that there's ever an issue between her and Todd. Back to the headline that I announced, Todd and Bronwyn separate after 7 years of marriage. But anyways, her kind of stating that is confusing to the group, and even Mary pipes in and says, like, when you say something to us and then we ask you about it later, you can't act and pretend as if you don't know what's going on. And I kind of agree with Mary in all aspects. Like, because I also say this about like Facebook and social media. Like when people are fighting, they're always like, yeah, fuck that bitch, that hoe, that jerk, that asshole, blah blah. They say this to each other on social media, but then like 2 weeks later, you see a photo of them like together. It's like, okay, like first of all, I live for those type of like relationship breakups and makeups, but like explain to us how you guys got. It's so easy for people to explain how they got into a fight, but then no one explains, okay guys, like we're back together, we decided to chat it out. Like tell us how you guys get back together as well. Like we're here for all of it. Like we're watching this drama unfold. Like we want to know the itty bitty gritty, right? But people will leave out that they're back together again. They just start posting photos together again, but then again, when they're pissed off at that person, it's like this entire like lengthy freaking post about how they hate them, what they've done to them. So I kind of related to that. Like I get it. Like Mary says, like, and the rest of the girls as well. Like we're just asking because you brought it up to us at one point. Like we're just asking, is everything okay? No one. I think the person that dug their own grave really was Bronwyn, like the way that she talked about Todd. And it wasn't necessarily bad, but just always throwing him under the bus, making him responsible for all the decisions in the relationship, when really it was either the both of them or her alone, you know? Regardless, like, the group can ask questions because that's what it's all about, you know? And I do like Bronwyn, but she's even lucky that they totally skipped over her whole, like, fraud thing, you know? Like, because if this was any other group cast, like, she would have been slithered into pieces, right? Now, this is the part that gets interesting. Meredith pipes in and says, I've been in your position before, Bronwyn, and it's not the end of it with this group. I think that's rich coming from Meredith. Also, when the girls are asking Bronwyn about her marriage with Todd, Lisa gives this cheeky smile. So Meredith and Lisa seem to have different complete opinions about this, but she gives a cheeky smile because in Lisa's eyes, she's been saying this the entire time. There's something underlying that's going on that Bronwyn's trying to hide, not just from the group, but from the entire world. But now it's coming to light, and Lisa's kind of like relieved. She's like, see, I've been saying this, and, you know, she's been doing her part as a cast member, bringing it to the group, and she gets shit on, but now, like, the entire group is starting to see what she sees. Like, Bronwyn will say something, and then when she's asked about it, it's totally something else. And I also put this in my notes. It's just interesting, and I'm just going to read it out. A while back, I mentioned on one of the recaps that Bronwyn is the only one that makes Todd look bad, and she's the one that takes it back all the time, and she throws things out there about Todd and makes it his fault. For example, not getting on the plane. And the previous trip, she wants to go by herself on the yacht, and all these. She makes it seem like it's Todd that doesn't want me to come and hang out with you guys, so I'll just come by myself. She throws all these things on Todd, and then when she's questioned about it on the group to make sure everything's okay, she takes it back and acts like, well, why are you guys bringing this up? Why would you bring this up? And she like gets all mad and that little stink face, you know. And I'm not surprised again that they're in this position because like this is a common pattern with Bronwyn. The entire world now sees it. I bet you anything that Todd has seen this season up until this point, and he's the one that's gone in and filed because honestly, it's getting ridiculous. Like it's too much. So Lisa's getting glammed, and everyone leaves her. That's understandable, and I know how Lisa is with her glam. If you've watched any of the previous seasons of Salt Lake City, you know how she kind of gets all weird about her making sure her glam is done. Although I did notice that when they had come in first into Greece and they stopped off at that restaurant, Lisa had no glam on, and you could see the freckles on her face, and I thought she looked gorgeous. Like, she didn't care then. And so sometimes people just, it's not always about having to look perfect. It's just that when they go out and they want to get these nice photos done, they just want to make sure that their face is done too. But also with that being said, Lisa should be really respectful of the group. She's always late. Like, just, Lisa, for once, like, do something as a group. Like, you guys are a group. She wasn't there the first couple episodes. When there's always events like this, she always comes in last because she wants to get her own photos, not with the group. Like, come on. You're the only one that really is trying to make yourself feel left out. Oh my God, then when Whitney slipped and fell, and she was looking at production, like, oh my God, I just slipped and fell. Like, and then that random guy came to help her. That was classic. I'm surprised she didn't have a huge bruise on her leg or like scratches. But like she just couldn't keep herself up. Like she kept falling. I don't understand. I kept trying to look back. Like I watched that scene. I know I'm terrible. I watched that scene a few times. Like I kept going back. I wanted to see where it was that she kept slipping and falling. But oh my God, it was just so funny. The sunset in Santorini is gorgeous. I can't wait till I'm able to go there one day with my daughter and we can just check it out ourselves. That just looked beautiful. Just everything about Greece, you know. Definitely on my bucket list. Bronwyn shopping with Meredith. Because obviously Meredith was the only one that defended her, like saying that, oh, this is not the end of it with this group. So now all of a sudden her and Meredith are best friends. Even though the other day she was saying that Meredith, you acted crazy on the plane. I love the peace offering though that Meredith did get for Heather. Because I know actually Mary was with them as well shopping. Of course, these are the 3 shopping girls, minus Lisa, but I love that Mary can be the voice of reason and the girls will listen to her because they're just a bit more afraid of her. But I mean, she is right. This type of treatment towards each other comes from a place of hurt. The way Meredith acted on the plane towards Brittany, it came from a place of hurt. Whether it depends how much she likes Brittany or not, she was hurt about it. So she acts angry, but it's because she's hurt about it. And she's acting this way, you know? Usually what I've noticed about Meredith is, again, she's a lot like me. Like, when she's upset, it comes out as aggression first before it comes out as the real reason, right? And then they chat about, like, maybe, you know, like Heather's tried to... Well, Meredith says, I've tried to reach out to Heather and Heather hasn't contacted me back, which is true. I don't know why Heather's making it seem like she's been trying to reach out to Meredith, but Meredith is not giving. Meredith has tried to reach out to Heather. There's receipts. It shows everything. And then she brings this peace offering for Heather. And it's funny because in Persian culture, we also have the evil eyes. I'm telling you, Greek and Persian culture is very similar. Then Heather, again, complains that they haven't chatted. Heather, Meredith is the one that's been trying to reach out. Production showed the tapes. We saw the flashbacks. You're the only one that's making yourself look dumb. Like, and then she brings it up to Meredith. And I agree. Meredith didn't want to bring it up in the group. Even if it was filmed, she still wanted to have an A to B conversation. But Heather always wants to be in front of the group. I think Heather thinks that that's her job. The group can be there in other settings, but sometimes you're like, you had a one-on-one with Lisa. You had a one-on-one with Brittany. How come you're not allowed a one-on-one with Meredith? But she always wants the group to be there because she wants to get people riled up and to go against Meredith, and I 1000% agree with that. My heart did break for Lisa when she started crying. It's nice to see her be really vulnerable and open up to Heather. I'm telling you, this hurt, anger, blah, blah, amongst a group like this, it typically comes from a place of hurt initially. And just for other people, how they express that hurt is going to be unique to them because everyone's completely different. I do like Whitney. I don't agree with Whitney or Heather in them accusing Meredith of all the problems in the group and that she's the problem right now. And like, this episode made me not like Whitney and definitely made me not like Heather. I've really not liked Heather before. Sometimes she can be a voice of reason, or just not a voice of reason, but bring up things to the group that other people don't see, like a different perspective. But this episode, absolutely not. You guys are going after the wrong people. It's like, how about yourselves? Let's look at you for one. You know what I mean? Like, they're absolutely incorrect in this, and I have cannot actually wait to see how the rest of the episodes play out. With that being said, let's jump right into the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 15, episode 2. Bose goes to Rachel's rental house in Bel Air, 6 bedrooms, 9 baths. I mean, why the need for so many baths? Even if every bedroom had a bath, it'd be 6 baths plus 1 extra for like the guests that come over that, you know, you don't want them. So that's 7. The 2 extra baths, I'm just so... And it's baths. It's bathrooms. Like, they all have bathtubs in them. It's crazy. But I do love how honest Rachel is about her friendship with Bose. I really like Rachel so far. Like, for example, she says, Bose isn't afraid of anything, but I'm afraid of... Bose isn't afraid of anything. I'm afraid of everything. So, of course, they're going to be compatible because you have one that's kind of going to push the other person on and one that might be like, no, let's hold back, you know? Opposites attract. But at the same time, they're both very corporate. And whenever they do flashbacks of these 2 women in particular and the corporate stuff, they were involved. They didn't have like, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about Sutton or people that have personal assistants, but like Sutton had an assistant that she would get to do majority of the stuff for her. Whereas I see a similarity in Rachel and Bose is like they didn't have the assistants talking for them. If they had something to say to their group of people, they were the ones doing the chatting, etc., etc. So it's kind of nice to see that, you know? Nice to see that they're the up in front and they didn't have anyone doing the talking for them. They start to chat about photos of exes in the press, and Rachel explains how her ex was seen with his new girlfriend almost 4 months after they split up. And whenever they bring up this to Kyle, like Kyle just automatically shuts it down. She's been photographed in the press, but she does not want to chat about it with the woman. And even if it's just shutting it down, like addressing and shutting it down, Kyle just pretends that she just doesn't know what they're talking about. I just don't understand why she can't just be in a safe space with the women and chat with them about it. Even like just to shut it down. I'm sure if she addressed it and shut it down, they wouldn't bring it up again. I know that Morgan Wade doesn't want to be talked about after that hideous, horrible season she had. And who knows if Kyle is still hanging out with her or with her, so to speak. But still, like, Kyle can talk about who she likes. It doesn't have to be Morgan, but like that she's into women without having to bring Morgan into it. You know? Then Erica and Sutton have a spa date, and of course Sutton needs an ally, so who better than the toughest bitch in the group and the one that she like literally put through the ringer to be like, look, we're friends now. I don't like Sutton's kind of play this way. I don't like her game of chess this way, you know. I know she had to do it, but like while she had Garcelle as an alliance, what she did to Erica, I will absolutely always hate her for. And I feel like Erica should kind of keep that at the back of her mind and remember that. Like, Sutton Brown is so fake. She's even surprised that Erica wants to hang out with her and invited her to the spa date, considering what she's done to her. But Erica opens up about still being heartbroken over Tom. She's unsure if she's going to go visit him in jail. It's obvious that he's going to die in jail. He's, 87 years old, and he's, like, sentenced to, 30 years? Come on now. But, what a sad way to die, you know? You can do all the right things in life, but the minute you make that really bad decision, it can come back to haunt you at any time. And that's kind of scary and sad at the same time. The next scene shows Dorit with her parents there. That's nice to see. Dorit does look a lot like her parents. And I love how they kind of allow her to be her. Like, they don't really... sometimes you see parents, and it doesn't matter what age the kids are at, but they always seem to have an opinion about something. Obviously, her parents had an opinion. They're like, we're worried for you. We just want you to be safe. But they're allowing Dorit to make the decisions that's best for her, and I love that. Then you see Sutton meets Kyle and Alexia at the store that Kyle's daughter, is going to set up her wedding registry. The wedding is 8 weeks away, and they only have their rabbi set up. Now, Kyle does admit that this family is not good at planning things, but with 8 weeks left, you guys, in Beverly Hills, I don't even know how they pulled it off. I know they pulled it off because I've seen photos of it. I just don't know how. So then the new girl, Amanda, comes to meet up with them. So this is pretty random. So Amanda bought Kyle's Bel Air house, and apparently she got shat on the internet because they ripped up all the floors that Kyle had installed, which I don't get why people get so upset. It's like, dude, when the house is given to somebody else and they buy it, they're allowed to do whatever they want, set up the aesthetic, etc., etc. Like, people are allowed to make changes to the home, you know? But she's also getting married, and her fiance's name is Eddie. So I swear to God, 1 year it's going to be the year of the Eddies, you know? Hopefully not, because we all love the Eddies, but already with Eddie Asufo, it's happening. So, you know, which is Wendy's husband, but they're not getting separated. It's just they both encountered some legal troubles. But anyways, so Amanda is a best-selling author in finance, and she has a book out called Rich as Fuck. And she's known as, AKA, quote unquote, the money queen. So that's how she's known as. I don't know if it's a life coach or it could be more like a finance coach. So we got introduced to her finally, which is nice to see because I know that there was one more girl. I see her in the previews. I just didn't know when we were going to see her. Then you see Bose and her daughter chatting about potentially getting married, like Bose potentially getting married. And her daughter wants Bose's boyfriend to ask her in case he wants to propose to Bose. Kind of like, you know how you ask the dad for permission? She wants her to be asked because she's the daughter, and literally it's just Bose and her. She's like, I feel like I should be asked permission. I think that's pretty cute. I also would like that. If I ever were to get married, someone would ask my daughter, hey, blah, blah, and see if my daughter approves or not. We get into the next scene. Finally, we see Jennifer Tilly. I've been dying to see Jennifer Tilly. I love her. She's hosting an art event at her house because she missed Kyle's summer solstice party. Now, the party is called the Dip and Draw party, and I loved it because the men had all their schlongs hanging out. And honestly, guys, I'm a single woman, so when they're schlongs and they're just hanging, it's my favorite. The men were clearly mostly gay. But there's this one guy that had his back really arched. I'm like, this is not like a gay photo thing. It's like, but I get it. They just have to pose. And then because Amanda doesn't drink too often, she got a mocktail, and Erica made a comment about Amanda's drinking, and right away, Amanda's on the defensive. Now, I feel like Amanda got this way because she doesn't know how Erica is, and vice versa. Erica doesn't know that Amanda really doesn't like to drink or whatever. So it's just kind of like they just don't know each other yet. But you can tell it's in Amanda's eyes, it's already kind of the track that they were going on is veered off a little bit. And I feel like this is going to set up the rest of the season for something dramatic, I feel like Amanda was a lot more offended than really she should be. The women are actually pretty good artists, though. But Jennifer Tilly says no one is the next Monet. And it's funny because literally they all just drew the dicks. So you know what all these women are thinking. And let me tell you, I would probably just draw the dick too. It's the easiest thing to draw. Why would I want to draw the eyeballs? I'm looking straight at the wee-haws, and that's all I want, But then it's funny because then they all go and they're eating together and stuff. The guys are in robes and they're munching with the women. It's that I found a little bit awkward. Hi, I just saw you woo-woo, and yeah, let's have some carrot sticks. Awesome, it's weird. Anyways, I'm laughing. So then the ladies sit together, they chatty, gossiping. Jennifer asked Kyle if she's dating, and she said no. And then I think Bose asked Kyle if she was having sex, and Kyle's like, well, no, how can I be having sex if I'm not dating? Kyle, stop acting so dumb. This is the defensive that people can see right through you. Because you can have sex but not date people. You did it for so long. And then Bose reminds me of Garcelia. She's like, look, we've seen the pictures and we've heard the rumors. Why won't Kyle just chat about it? And like I said, at least address it. You don't have to say, yeah, I'm dating Morgan. Or, yeah, I was dating her, now we're broken up. No, you can just be like, yeah, I do date, and I think that I'm into women now. So I'm going to go both ways. If I see a woman, sure. I know you guys have seen photos of me in the press, and I've been with a woman. And yeah, it was fun. I just kind of want to see, have fun. But right now, there's no one in particular. My previous relationship ended and she doesn't want to be chatted about. So I'm just not going to chat about that. But it has ended and I'm just kind of out there and enjoying life. She could say something like that. I just don't get why she just doesn't address it and at least kill it for once and for all, Then Dorit starts to get emotional because apparently PK is not going to allow Jagger to go stay with Dorit's parents in Florida. I thought that they were in Israel or something. They're Israeli Jewish, but they're not living in Israel. They're actually living in Florida. And Jagger kind of really misses that male influence in his life, especially someone that he feels safe with. And I feel like her Baba, that's what they call it, is really, or Saba, sorry. Baba is Farsi for dad. But they're really missing... He's really missing that male figure and a safe male figure and a consistent male figure. So he misses his Saba, which is Dorit's dad, and he wants to just go stay with them for a while. I think that's great. My daughter would go stay with my parents too for a little bit, especially my mom, Sometimes I would get bored and I want her to come back home, but if your parents are still around, I think it's just amazing that the kids can go hang out with them because not a lot of people I didn't grow up with my grandparents. So it's nice that my daughter can, and when I see other people able to, it's nice, Kyle claims that Dorit always responds differently to whatever she suggests as opposed to the other ladies. But then she goes on to say why. And this is where Kyle confuses me. She says, I know PK. So I'm going to say something different than what the rest of the ladies are just going to agree with him and say, yeah, he's a piece of shit, blah, blah. Kyle, no one's asking you to say that PK is a piece of shit. But when your friend needs your condolences or sympathies or a compassion, you never dated PK. So you can defend him as a friend because you've seen him as a friend, but you were never his wife. So when his wife is complaining about something, be there for her as a friend to her. Okay? When PK wants to complain, then you can be there as a friend to him. But right now, it's the wife that's complaining. And you can defend PK all you want, but you've never been PK's wife. You don't know what a piece of shit husband he can be. Just pisses me off how Kyle still wants to defend PK. Is PK paying your bills, bitch? What the fuck? There's something going on. Anyway, so Kyle somewhat alludes to her protecting Morgan Wade because she wants to protect the woman who wants her name to remain out of this group. Because later on you see her having this conversation with Erica, and Erica also agrees to protecting this. But by protecting it, it just literally means keeping her name out of it. Why not just say it's true? My person does not want to be talked about, so I can't chat about it, but this is, this is it. Anyways, I just find it weird because Erica should know you guys are on a TV show. Like, what do you want to protect? The more you Kyle really has no storyline. She's like so boring these years. I used to love Kyle, but now I just absolutely cannot handle her. She's become the most fake on the show just because she wants to protect Morgan Wade. Okay, protect her, but doesn't mean you have to protect your sexuality. You can protect Morgan, but still out your own personality and sexuality and have a story, and this might help other people too come out. You protecting it and keeping it like this, you can protect Morgan, but still say that you're bisexual, and two things can be true at the same time. So anyways, that was our episode of Beverly Hills, you guys. It was pretty good. I think it's getting really good and juicy. I love it. I love to see it. But yeah, that's that. So I know I combined 2 episodes together this week. I had some trouble with my Hey You that I couldn't watch these episodes last week. So you're getting a double whammy today. And I'm going to continue on with the rest of the episodes and be up to date for this week, okay? Please, again, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my podcast, you guys. I have a Vanderpump Rules recap coming of last week. And then, like I said, we'll be up to date and we'll go on from there, okay? Have a good day.